College football apostles is in the building. Jam-packed show for you guys today. We got to talk about Michigan's head coach, who it's going to be, who it's not going to be. Ralph is not well right now because one of them names might be Kenny Dillingham. We got to talk through this, therapy session. Danton Lynn over there at USC. Looks like the band is getting ready to break up. But Pete Kiwatowski is available because Texas just fired him and hired Will Muschamp as their DC, which is mind-blowingly confusing. Ohio's head coach been hanging out with Sharon Moore, except for he's hanging out with the younger kids. The transfer portal quarterbacks must be discussed and where they're going, where we would like to see them go. Matt Rhule apparently was not a Penn State head coaching target, but hell, maybe it should be, even though they ended up getting lucky. So why the hell did he get an extension? That's the question. And we got to talk about these playoff games and so much more. Make sure that you like, subscribe, get notifications, tell a friend about the show. I'm your boy, George Wrighster, and we were Rain Man himself. Safety second. He ain't even worried about ain't safety first. Ralph Amsden. Ralph, Michigan's head coach. So let's start talking about it there. Because you have been going through it just like every other Arizona State fan. And I would like to tell everybody out there all you people who have been worried about your head coach since the beginning of the season, are they going to fire him? Are they going to keep him? Are we going to get Alex Golesh? Are we going to get Matt Campbell? Are we going to get Lane Kiffin? I can't relate. So... Sorry, Ralph, I can't relate.
Man, you got a short memory. You've been through this hell so many times. It's amazing. Dude, this is we're getting it from University of Arizona fans, too. They just went through this with Jeb Fish. Nobody has any sympathy for anybody. Michigan fans should be in hell right now, but the fact that they get to pick on Arizona State fans is sort of giving them this little bit of joy that they can cling to when they should be worried about the fact that their whole world fell apart just a couple of days ago. But they don't care. They got somebody to pick on, so they're focused on that.
Yep. Well, I'm not picking on anybody. I'm just enjoying peace. I'm just enjoying peace. So the question to you is, Ralph, so for anybody that doesn't know, Michigan obviously fired Sharon Moore. Topics about this on the channel if you want to deep dive into it and how the crazy story came out with burner accounts and all of this stuff. There's a video for that on the channel. But there has been talk of Kalen DeBoer potentially leaving Alabama. Alabama fans have been in my mentions after I said that, like I'm a buffoon who just says random things on Twitter. Oh, it's clickbait. You're a moron. I have been called the R word so many times. And I've also figured out that people don't know how to spell it. I don't mean racist.
People think that Wrighster starts with an R.
So it has been a wild, wild ride. And so Kalen DeBoer, I believe he is still a candidate for the job. Ralph, where do you stand on Kalen DeBoer and his candidacy, despite putting out a statement that has clearly stopped people from asking him about it?
I think you have to do that, and I think the college football calendar kind of makes that the situation. I think it's very important that he affirms that he's happy at Alabama right now. But we'll see how happy people are with him after what happens on Friday. If they win, it might be a moot point. If not, they might actually prefer that he changes his mind.
Oh, and remember, Ralph. So he said this to, he said this to stop all the stuff. But what did you expect him to say? And then also, remember, immediately after, Alabama's working on a contract extension. So he's already on an 8-year, $87 million deal and is a top 10 highest paid coach in the country right now, would you say that he's exceeding Alabama's expectations, meeting them, or below them? Regardless of
Below.
whether they are realistic or not, what do you think that is?
Below, because he's
Okay,
he's got 7 losses in
in
2
2 years.
years, and Saban never did that outside of his first and second year combined.
So
So
why
that
would
the standard
anybody?
is the standard there.
So why would they be giving him an extension?
I think they don't want to be in the situation that Michigan's in right now. I think it has a lot more to do with the actual timing of all of this. But if you're Alabama, you also have to believe that you could go and take somebody off of somebody else's staff. I think you have to carry that confidence. Um, the interesting thing about Kalen DeBoer is, Courtney Morgan is his director of player personnel.
Yes,
Dad's a Michigan guy.
Michigan
Ben
wants
Grubb,
him badly.
yeah, Ben Grubb got Michigan ties. There's there's some stuff about this that does make sense regionally, um, but he does have a really good job right now, and he does have a high buyout if they were to change their mind. So I don't know. I don't know how viable of a candidate he would be. I think to me, he makes sense as the number one target. I think that makes sense. Whether or not it's viable, we're going to ultimately find out. So much of it feels like it hinges on Friday night. And I think that's what the problem is for me. And you always say this. I think it's actually you that has reinforced this. It should never come down to one game.
Nope.
You should never be in that situation. And it feels like they are. It feels like they were with the Iron Bowl. It feels like they are right now. Had they not made the college football playoff and they were back in another ReliaQuest Bowl or something like that, then maybe that's a something that that would have caused Alabama fans to be on board with maybe going and looking elsewhere. The weird thing about the Michigan candidacy is when I think of running the ball, I think of Michigan. And when I think of not running the ball, I think of Kalen DeBoer. So is it the best fit? I'm not 100% sure, but I'm also not 100% sure there is a good fit for Michigan right now. So what I
But
what I
do
would
you
have them
want to
do at head coach.
consistently live on borrowed time? Because Alabama don't fool with Kalen DeBoer like that. They don't really they're not bought in on him, the way he does things, all of this stuff. He's looked at like a city slicker. So do you want to keep living like that and then donors pull back some money a little bit and then it just continues to kind of go down? Or do you want to reset your clock and go up to Michigan?
If I put myself in Kalen DeBoer's shoes, you got to think his primary goal is to win championships. And you probably have an equal shot in the Big Ten or SEC to do that.
Yeah.
So who's going to give you the best resources? I would make them compete for me. And so you tell me who the best destination is. I'm the best coach.
Okay.
So who's
So
going to give me the best resources?
I think Michigan should be I think Michigan should be in a tough spot, but they're not. Well, they kind of are, but they kind of not. Okay, so on one hand, you got to figure out what's going on with Ward Manuel and as your athletic director because he's leading the search, but he might be getting fired because they're doing an investigation of everything that's going on since he's been the athletic director. So you got
And
to
the
think that
president just put out a video saying we're going to fire anybody who we find did anything even slightly wrong. Like the 3-minute
which
video
is
just dropped.
exactly what Michigan has to do. Clean effing house. You cannot they keep trying to sweep everything under the rug and try to make sure that we don't look bad and man, this is time to clean the freaking house all the way out. This is
Both
your
ways too.
opportunity.
I'm not trying to be gross, but like you probably do need to bring in cleaners for the football offices, like legit, like deep cleaners, shampoo the carpets, all that stuff.
Man, no, don't clean them. All new carpet. Everything got to go. Painting the walls, everything. But primer got to go up first. We not just slapping a new coat on. We sanitizing everything around this joint. And I just can't believe. Oh, okay. So then there's Kalen DeBoer. Then there's Kenny Dillingham. And people and it's so funny, like people were looking at the Kalshi odds and they're like, see, look, it's getting ready to happen. I was like, yo, they're not, they want to make a decision on the 20th or the 21st. And right now, the Kalshi odds, remember, these are not betting odds. Technically, they kind of are, but they're not, because this is the prediction market. So the more money comes in, like, it has big swings. Like, this is not just intel like that. And he was all the way up to like 70% the other day, and there's been no movement. So, and I have consistently said this, and I'm standing on business with it still. I believe that Kenny Dillingham, if he is allowed to, will stay at Arizona State forever. Like, I believe that that's what he wants in his heart. And this is from talking to him, from talking to people around him. However, he is playing chicken with the president of the school, Michael Crow. Somebody is going to win, somebody is going to lose. If Michael Crow calls his bluff about potentially leaving, he either has to suck it up and stay with the new contract extension that he's already been offered, or leave and go to Michigan. I believe that he would suck it up and stay before he would leave. But sometimes pride gets in the way of making good decisions. But maybe he looks at his family, looks at it and like, I'm going to suck it up this time. Because Arizona State's in a very unique position. It's one of the biggest universities in the nation, right?
Up there with Texas and UCF, yeah.
Yeah. So it's one of the biggest. So you can't really, so football is not really going to increase enrollment. But football being great could increase donations. And you got to find a way to activate the Valley. I mean, and get people caring about Arizona State football. And he is the guy to do it. And if Michael Crow thinks that he can just find another Kenny Dillingham, somebody who wants to stay forever and build this and all of this, then he is going to figure out that he is Jerry Reinsdorf and Jerry Krause with the Bulls when they thought that they could make the Michael Jordan magic happen again. Oh, we did it once. We can do it again. We'll find another star, and then we'll find a Scottie Pippen. We'll find a Phil Jackson. It ain't worked. It ain't worked. So yeah. It's going to be very interesting, because if DeBoer wins this weekend and Kenny Dillingham says he's staying, where do you turn from there? PJ Fleck? I think PJ Fleck will walk out the door on Minnesota for Michigan.
So Michael Crow is an interesting dude, ASU's president. There's a lot of people who are very, very, very intelligent who sometimes are also loud and wrong. We just watched Joel Klatt make fun of the NCAA March Madness tournament. Like, that was loud and wrong, right? And so, Michael Crow tried to keep the Pac-12 afloat after it was already dead, and it was kind of embarrassing the way he went about it. Michael Crow hired somebody who had been out of work for 9 years and hadn't coached in college football in 30 years, in Herm Edwards, and it led to kind of the collapse of Arizona State's football program.
He was like, I'm going to kill him with this one. I'm going to kill him with this one.
It was like the famous last words of, like, most men, watch this. He's had a couple of watch this moments. Yeah, and so it makes Arizona State fans nervous. It makes them a really hard man to trust when it comes to making the most obvious decision. And you tripped and fell into having an alumni who loves it there, who took you to the college football playoff. And he's asking for a second commitment. And that's not weird. Like, you see people all the time, they get engaged. That's commitment one, right? Or commitment one is like, will you be my girlfriend, right? And then the girl in the situation has to decide, if they ask me to marry them, will I say yes or no? Yeah. But you still have to do that. And the investment is the ring, and the investment is planning the wedding and all this stuff. Like, Kenny Dillingham's trying to tell Michael Crow, if you give me the resources, I'll be the best thing you could ever have at this university. And I'll even turn down 30 to 40 million over the next 10 years if you make sure my staff's taken care of. He's trying to telegraph that as aggressively as possible. And if the president of the university is playing chicken with that, he's dumb, because the thing for Kenny Dillingham is he trips and falls up into one of the best jobs in America
Yeah.
at Michigan. That's how I feel. But if I'm Michigan, this is an insane thing, but Stanford did this. And so now you are not in the best situation with the most people available to you. Would you agree, George? Because of where this came at in the hiring cycle, Michigan is not in the best place available with the best candidates available to them right now.
100%. You showed up at 11:59 for at the best food, at one of the best food establishments in the entire world that closes at midnight.
Yeah, give me 1 year of Biff. Give me 1 year of Biff Poggi.
No, you can't do that. You
Why
can't
not?
do that.
Why not? I know it sounds insane. Stanford just did it with Frank Reich, and then they kind of made the most obvious decision imaginable for head coach. But if you're Michigan and you have all these resources,
you're going to lose already worth a lot of players in the portal if you do.
What if you double everybody's take? What if you buy a year of commitment from them so that they can be on board for the process?
Okay, so the issue with buying a year of commitment is that then unreal expectations of financial are there. So now you're paying people way too much, and then they're going to want a raise. And that's not really an option either.
So Michigan just has to take what's out there, and yeah, I mean, PJ Fleck, I think would take it. You know what? In a hot minute.
It's kind of like if you're trying to equate this to something. Oh man, it's kind of like the NFL draft where people and to your point, I agree with this sentiment where you're like, just because you need a quarterback doesn't mean you draft a quarterback in the first round. And sometimes you got to wait till next year's draft. So if I were Michigan, I would more likely hire somebody who's a coordinator and give them a shot before, like a hot shot coordinator. Like I would see, honestly, I'd probably call, what's his name? That is USF's head coach right now from Ohio State.
Oh, Brian Hartline?
Yes, I would call Brian Hartline.
You have him cross enemy lines?
Oh, you don't think he would take that job? I'd be like, all right, cool. You know what? Ohio State, double middle finger. I'm getting Brian Hartline. Take that in your pipe and smoke it until Ohio State comes open, and then Brian Hartline goes down to Ohio. Actually, I don't even know if he can after crossing enemy lines. But I'm not mad at that.
I feel bad for Michigan. I do. I feel bad for them. It's been hard to, because their fans have been a lot. As an Arizona State guy, their fans have. One of their fans tweeted me a picture of my own house yesterday.
What?
Yeah, because I wouldn't let him on Spaces. One of their On3 reporters jumped onto a Sun Devil Spaces, and he was trying to give the Michigan perspective, and I heard all this giggling in the background. And I was like, are you having a pajama party? And he's like, oh, my Discord is just on here. The whole thing was a joke to him. Like, everybody was laughing at the idea that Arizona State fans are having a bad time. Like, their media has been unprofessional and weird. Their one of their fans, he did send me an apology. He's like, I got carried away and doxed you. Like, yeah, you did. They're in pain right now. And I feel bad for them because of when this happened. It really is the timing, because everybody else did everything they were going to do so early in the process. And I wonder who they would have had access to, or who would have made the choice to go there. Like your boy, Will Stein, or something like that. Like, would there have been other options that would have been the best possible result for them if this had all unraveled 2 weeks before it did? So in that way,
they definitely would have had different options. But at the same time, that doesn't mean that you don't get a great option. Look at freaking Penn State, they fell into a gold mine. But all right, so let's get on to the next thing. Um, ooh, so Ralph, I have been hearing for days that Danton Lynn was going to be willing to leave USC,
You're not an
possibly
insider.
to go to Penn State.
You don't know anything.
Exactly.
I'm just reading. I'm reading your mentions.
And so I further breadcrumbed it out, right? So a couple nights ago, I put out a tweet that said, this was me when I got off the phone 5 minutes ago. College football chaos is happening while y'all are sleeping. Can't wait till y'all tell y'all what's coming in the morning. I tweet out the next day, keep an eye out for some movement at a legacy Pac-12 school, losing a key pieces of the staff to a blue blood or blue bloods. This is not something that has been in the news yet at all. Moves aren't final, but trending that way. I was referring to Danton Lynn potentially leaving USC, and USC might, there's a major domino that might fall out of USC as well. I can't even bring this up yet, but major. And if this person leaves USC, it will be a seismic move. Seismic. So we'll just leave it at that.
Is it bigger news than USC leaving the Coliseum?
Oh, in 2028 for the Olympics, yes, much bigger than that.
I'm obsessed with this idea that one stadium is going to have 4 football teams. That's awesome. They're getting a lot of use out of your new LA stadium out there.
What are we doing?
I think Danton Lynn, he's a Penn State guy, right? He'd be going home. I think that if they end up pulling this off, it would be a fantastic move for Penn State. I think it would alleviate any concerns about Matt Campbell not being a serious candidate, not just being somebody who is good in the Big 12, but somebody who can move the needle in the Big 10. I think Danton Lynn is, well, I think I questioned his hire at UCLA at the time. And I don't know if I've ever been more wrong about anything. He is very, very good at what he does. And I think, did you mute yourself? Are you on mute? I lost you.
Yes, I was on mute.
Okay.
I pulled a Ralph. Over the last few years, you've probably done that no less than 30 times.
I might probably do it again at some point in this show.
So I don't believe he's underachieved, even though USC people feel like he has. It is very difficult to put a top defense along Lincoln Riley's offense because there's so much smoke and mirrors and trickeration. The physicality that you need is missing a lot of times. So yes. So this is, yeah, I just don't know if this is ideal. And there's been talk about him and the Penn State defensive coordinator job and all of that. Now, I don't know if it's going to be Penn State, but it's going to be somewhere. See?
Interesting.
Nice picture of Danton here.
So I agree with you that the inability to be as physical as you need to be a top defense in the Big Ten has been an issue. I thought they took a big step in the right direction this year. I've been impressed with the way that he's developed guys like Anthony Lucas, who I've never thought were overly physical anyway.
Yeah.
I think he's a really, really good coordinator. Now, is he on the level of a Pete Kwiatkowski? Could USC trip and fall into actually up, because that to me that's a top 10 coordinator in America that just got fired by Texas.
That
So
would be
what
crazy.
if USC trips and falls into an upgrade?
Yes. That would be wild. I know Texas's defense wasn't good this year, but last year was fantastic. But they did have better players. And USC people would tell you, oh, our talent wasn't good enough. Our talent. I know our defense was much improved the last 2 years, but he underachieved. But we didn't have enough talent. How are both things true?
Yeah, I mean, and what they'll tell themselves about Pete Kwiatkowski is that it was maybe Sark's fault or Arch's fault this year at Texas. And to me, Texas had a top 5 all-time pass defense in 2024.
Yes.
That's in
All
him, like that.
time.
Pete, and you don't miss him not being at Washington anymore, do you?
No.
Right?
No.
Like that's a dude that actually puts a little fear in my heart.
Ryan Walters is a problem up there too. Just
Yeah.
letting everybody know.
But so we'll see how all this shifts around. But I think Danton Lynn would be able to maximize his skill set at his alma mater alongside Matt Campbell. I think that would be a fantastic addition out there if it goes down that way.
Yep. But the question is, how big of a deal do you think this is for USC if they lose him, and let's say that they don't get Kwiatkowski?
Yeah, I mean, they've clearly shown they have the resources to get good coaches, right? They pulled Danton Lynn off of UCLA's staff. That was a big coup at the time. It would just be what would be interesting is what direction they would decide to go, because there's some philosophical splits all over the college football world right now of a 3-3-5, of a 5-2, of a 4-3, of a 3-4. Are you bringing in somebody who is complementary to the air raid style? Do you seek to get more physical? Do you promote somebody from within? I think there's a million questions. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people applying for a very well-paying defensive coordinator job. I don't think they'll be short on candidates.
Yeah.
I just personally believe that this is one of the best ones, and it might hurt with roster retention. But speaking of roster retention, George, what do you think of USC announcing every single one of their players as a re-signing?
Okay. All right. Here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna screen share, and then I think you're gonna be able to talk over it too, Ralph.
Okay.
When I put this up, you tell me if you can still hear me and talk. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Where the hell is it? Oh, right over here. Haha.
They don't know you got like a Minority Report set up over at your house. For anybody who doesn't know what that is, that's a movie, not me commenting on race.
Oh wow. Okay, so can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. Oh, I can do this too? Haha. Okay, so this is USC's thing, okay? They're showing re-signings, right? And my question is, why are all these people free agents? That's my question. So, when did Cam Crawford become a free agent? And then also, Ralph, you are a college football guy. You are Rain Man. Stop me when somebody who was a significant contributor this year. Okay?
Okay.
Cam Crawford.
Okay.
Kendarius Reddick. Jakeem Stewart. Romero Ielson. And Jakeem Stewart signed a multi-year deal coming out of high school. Chazen Johnson. Tobias Raymond. Okay. Jaden
Well,
Mayaba.
that one.
Okay. significant. And then
Yeah.
we keep going on. Zacchaeus Williams, Roy Sayeri, that's the kicker. You got to re-sign your damn kicker? All right. So
This is
out,
fascinating.
yeah. And to Nook Hines feels significant too, I think. I just don't, I think that you're putting yourself into renegotiation culture when you do this.
What do you think when they all got together to have a meeting about this, what do you think their idea of the upside of it was? Do you think it was brand and facial recognition for each player? And if so, why didn't they stretch it out over a longer period of time, do more as much possible fanfare for everybody involved? I do know that the modern player does like to get their face out there. I do know
Yeah,
that
but it's
because
going to
there's this.
cause problems if you're not one of the players who's getting quote unquote re-signed.
Oh, so if you don't see a name, you have to assume that they're not wanted.
Yeah. Yeah, that they're not
And
wanted or they're not a big priority for the future.
I would prefer that nobody else does this. I would prefer that it only be a
100%.
USC thing.
100%. I want this to stop. It feels gross. It feels icky. I just it's giving me the ick. All right. Speaking of the ick, Ohio's head coach has. Why are you laughing, Ralph?
I don't feel
Uh,
good about this story.
Ohio's head coach. Hey, listen, it must be talked about. If we talked about Sharon Moore, oh, we gonna talk about Brian Smith, who got
Yeah,
fired from Ohio University. And this is um, a letter from the president of the school. Okay, Ralph. Letter from the
mhm.
president of the school. Hold up, let me put it over here so I can zoom it in and read it because this thing, it's I have really good eyesight, but this font is not. Why
There's
is this thing so
too
little?
many too many things, and that's why the font's so little. You're trying to fit it all onto just 2 pages.
Yeah, he
I
says.
do want to say this before you get started. I do want to say this. I'm glad, and maybe other people are too. It came out yesterday that the reason he might have been fired is he had a bottle of bourbon in his desk for like victory shots. And I almost tweeted like, I know 50 different high school coaches who do this exact thing, but I didn't want to get anybody in trouble. And to me, like, there's no way this could be the reason that
No.
he gets fired. And I'm glad I put that tweet in my pocket instead of sending it out because today has been a mess.
Okay. Here is the letter. Notice of intent to terminate employment from the president, Lori Stewart Gonzalez. Okay. Your conduct triggers this clause, talking about the clause for termination. Your conduct triggers this clause in multiple ways. This includes your participation in extramarital affairs, including one with an undergraduate student, so to which you have admitted. This brings on very disrepute, scandal, and ridicule in issue in this section. In addition, you appear to have admitted to athletic director Laysheed that you carried on an affair in part on campus at Ohio University in where you were likely to be observed by OU constituents such as student athlete families, donors, alumni, and where you were indeed witnessed by a football player's parent. While it's possible that more related evidence of misconduct may come to light, the facts above establish cause under this section. So allegedly, he was having an affair in an on, and he would do it in an on-campus hotel. There are some people that believe that you should not be fired for what goes on in your personal life. let's say that those people are correct, or that is how things should be handled. I don't think that that's always going to be the way that things are handled. However, when you have a relationship like that with a subordinate, like at Michigan, it can 100% get you fired, and probably will, especially at a school that's had scandals. And if you are a head coach and you're married, and you are, even if you're not married and your name's not, never mind, you will get fired for messing with a undergraduate, a student on campus, period. Unless you are like a super grad student and you're 29 and start dating the head football coach who's 38, like that's different.
Oh man. So when Brian Smith was introduced as the head coach of University of Ohio, and Brian Smith, this is a good football coach, and he stepped into a really good situation. With a returning quarterback, with an exciting schedule, quarterback who I actually covered at the high school level. Yeah, they had a receiver pop off this year that you put in one of your possible transfer portal to watch guys. Um, they won 9 games. This is somebody who has a long track record of being a good coach. Almost got the Hawaii job back when they gave it to Todd Graham. He's like a college roommate of Nick Rolovich. This is a football guy, right? And I want to read you his quote when he got hired. My family and I are excited to be moving to Athens to work for Coach Albin. This is when he was brought in as an assistant, whose vision for developing a team is in line with my values as a husband, father, and coach.
Ugh.
I cannot wait to work with the outstanding players at Ohio University. So I know you said that there are people who believe that you shouldn't have your professional life be affected by maybe some mistakes or decisions in your personal life. I'm just gonna say, for anybody who's waffling or maybe on the fence about maybe making some choices, divorce, divorce, get divorced.
Yeah, but
Like, and
this was still
forbidden
going to
fruits
be a
aside,
problem with an
yes,
undergraduate student on campus.
one
That
million
doesn't
percent,
eliminate that part of the issue.
1,000,000%. I 100,000,000% agree with you. I just please excuse my dear Aunt Sally with some of these things, because some of it just becomes in like, oh, if I'm not going to honor my marriage vows, if I'm already going to do one thing wrong, I might as well do 2 things wrong. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's an order of moral operations, right? So like, if you don't have the respect for your family, not to mess around on your family and risk a $900,000 a year job that you just stepped into, you know, then if you have those set in stone values of like, all right, I'm not going to cheat, then also you're probably more likely to follow other rules as well. So I hate to gateway drugs sleeping with a co-ed, but it is very important that certain things matter, that like certain pillars and values are upheld, and that matters if you're Brian Smith or Sharon Moore or Urban Meyer. That stuff matter. And what is it? I saw your boy George Foster and other people say that this week. It is undefeated. They have
It
waged
is.
wars over it.
Man, that thing is undefeated, boy. Damn.
So don't line up against it.
That is a fact. All right. Next thing up. The transfer portal is going crazy, Ralph. Transfer portal is going crazy. We got all sorts of players up in the transfer portal. We got these 3 guys right here. We got Brendan Sorsby. We got Cincinnati quarterback DJ Lagway, Dylan Raiola, Sam Leavitt, the quarterback from Old Dominion, quarterback from Colton, and we got who else?
Bo
Quarterback from
Pribula,
West Florida, quarterback from damn near everywhere is in the portal.
Kenny Minchey jumping in.
Yep, yep, from Notre Dame, he's in.
Your son?
Yes, my son. Yes. Hey man, the portal affects us all, bro. But it's the quarterbacks that are generating a ton of buzz and a ton of talk because, yeah. Also, Aaron Philo from Georgia Tech is in there. Harvard quarterback Jaden Craig, who's going to be a big thing too. Oh, Drew Mestamaker from
Yeah.
North Texas, he's hopping in. All this stuff. But one of the things that we noticed, who's a school that keeps getting mentioned every single time, Ralph?
Man, Oregon.
You're like, who do you think they? First of all, Dante Moore, I would say 65-35 coming back. So, do you think that Dylan Raiola would be willing to redshirt it? Or, well, actually, I know Oregon does not want him, even despite what the page says right here. Do you think he would be willing to go there in redshirt?
No. Can you explain to people what you mean by mentioned? Like when you say Oregon keeps getting mentioned, so agents are the ones talking to reporters and they're giving them a list of schools that they would be interested in. These lists sometimes mean something, but for the most part don't mean anything at all.
No. It's just like it's like putting your well, my kids, they used to put stuff on their Christmas list, Balenciaga shoes, Chrome Hearts belt, this and that, and they keep coming up empty. So guess what they've stopped doing?
Oh, you trained them out of it?
Yeah.
This year I got Lord of the Rings Elven Kingdom Lego set. It's like $1,100. I'm like,
That I would consider buying.
why? Because it would actually take up 3 or 4 days. You can guarantee use.
Yes, guaranteed use.
And it would look cool as hell, like just anywhere in the house. But it would have to be like the one gift for everybody. Like I'm not,
dude. A pair of shoes, dude. That's what I'm saying. They're asking for like $1,100 shoes, $1,100 belt, bro. You can't even like an $800 belt, $900 belt. What are we doing here?
I feel, oh, this is speaking to me as a father. I got one of my kids got 3 different $400 guitar pedals on, and he's like, any 2 of these 3 would work. And I'm like, wait, what?
Any 2 of the 3? You mean
Yeah.
1?
Let me talk to Santa about this.
I need to talk to. Hold up, I'm making a short about this today. Most outrageous.
But yeah, I mean, so you're getting people throwing Oregon out there, people throwing Indiana out there, obviously, because Curtis Work had a great year, and then Fernando Mendoza in his 1 year outside of Cal turns into a Heisman winner. It took Jaden Daniels 2 years at LSU. Fernando Mendoza just needed 1. So people are pointing to some of these destinations and saying, yeah, that would be optimal for me. But that doesn't mean it's optimal for them, George. So I would love to know, as an objective observer, as college football's truth teller, if we went through these names, could we actually, whether the school wants them or not, could we actually come up with a situation that might be the best situation for them?
Yes. Okay. Let's try it.
Okay.
Let's start with an easy one. Brendan Sorsby.
So you would think that we really know where he's going. That one feels over, right? His girlfriend already transferred to Texas Tech to play volleyball. So that feels like it's a done deal. They obviously have a backup quarterback who's dealing with an ACL, and they don't have to. They can mitigate risk. they don't have to say like, oh, we're going to have him ready to start the year next year. We can have a good quarterback in place. You and I have been Brendan Sorsby fans. It's funny to see people are now calling him overrated when it used to be no one even said his name. No one even spelled it right. And now we're in this situation where one of the best teams in the country is probably going to end up with him. For me, though, I would have him go back home. If I could handpick his destination,
Okay.
he is originally a University of Indiana quarterback.
Yes. I would love him to go back to Indiana. That feels like that fits. That feels like that could end up national championship caliber. Mm. Yeah. I like that. I'm on board with you too. All right. Let's go with DJ Lagway.
Oof.
I'll tell you, I would send him up to Oregon and redshirt him.
The Dante Moore treatment.
Yep, the Dante Moore treatment. Send him up there, redshirt him. Even if something happens to your quarterback, he's still sitting. He's still sitting. He's not going in. The same way that Dante Moore did. He got, 3 or 4 games worth of work in mop-up duty, but that was it. That was literally it. So I'm going to go him. I think he needs to sit down a year, or he needs to go down. I mean, this sounds rude, so I'm not going to say it. He needs to be at he doesn't need to be at Florida. He needs to be behind the scenes a little bit. I would send him to like Virginia or something.
Interesting. Tony Elliott, he's had success with probably a similar quarterback skill set wise in Deshaun Watson. So Virginia is not a terrible place. I'm going to throw out a place where he probably won't end up, but they have the stomach for a quarterback who is big and turnover prone. They proved it this year by bringing in Carson Beck. I'm going to say Miami for DJ Lagway.
Man, no. Hell no. Hell no. Dude, that'll be a disaster. That'll ruin his life because as soon as he starts throwing picks and he goes in the tank, Cristobal is going to punt him to the sun. Cristobal wants a proven quarterback. And that
So
ain't Lagway because
we're both fine with him going against ACC defenses. You just don't want him in Miami's offense.
Dude, he's gonna get swallowed up there, dude. It'll be too much because the thing about sending him to Virginia is you can put him in a quarterback competition. Anywhere DJ Lagway goes, he should be in a quarterback competition. And I just wanted him to go somewhere where he's either gonna redshirt or he's gonna win it.
Mm.
All right. Let's go with your boy Sam Leavitt, your former guy.
Yeah. So if I could handpick a place for him, it would not be a place that he's actually considering. But there is a head coach out there who has had a lot of success with athletic quarterbacks. And he tried his hand the last couple of years with a quarterback who's not so athletic. And it was good. It was better for that school than it has been in a long time, but it wasn't all it could be.
Nebraska.
If I'm Sam Leavitt, I'm going to Lincoln, Nebraska.
Ooh,
the money's there. Yeah, the money's there, the support's there. Like it's a 1-year deal. I think that he would put in support for you.
That because ain't no Jordan Tyson around. I mean, I guess he could get the kid from K-State who's in the portal, the wide receiver, who's a good player. You could do a couple other things, but grabbing a Mario Miller and you could improve this offense dramatically. So I'm not mad at that.
He got
how about
flaws.
Drew Mestamaker?
Oh my God! So what the obvious thing is to follow your offensive coordinator, right?
Yeah,
that's the obvious thing.
Oh wait, where does offensive coordinator go?
Or his head coach / offensive coordinator Eric Morris went to Oklahoma State. That's the obvious thing.
Yes, but if Dante Moore leaves, I want him in Oregon. Bring him on up there. Bring him on up there, pal.
If I'm John Sumrall, I go all in on this. Drew Mestamaker to Florida.
Ooh. I like that.
Because you might be the only person who can convince him resources over comfort, over offensive system. But we have seen people who played for Eric Morris play well at Miami. So you have to consider that as well. Cam Ward was the number 1 overall pick through 39 touchdowns.
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense.
But if I'm Florida, that's who I try to replace DJ Lagway with.
That makes sense. Did we leave anybody else off? Any of the big names?
Mr. Dylan Raiola.
I'm stumped, bro. I'm stumped. I'll send him to Memphis, baby. I'm dead serious.
I know. Okay, so there is a head coach out there who has the stomach for big armed quarterbacks whose statistics don't necessarily reflect their ceiling.
Wyoming?
No. I'm talking about James Franklin at Virginia Tech.
Oh my God, no. Oh God, that'll be bad for everybody.
All right, I've got three more names. Quick fire round. Here we go. Colton Joseph, who rushed for 200 yards against Indiana. Freak athlete.
Yeah, from Old Dominion. I like him. Their offensive coordinator just went to Memphis, Decker. I like him to go to Memphis. I think that'll be smart.
Then they got money for sure. I got Kenny Minchey, and I would love to claim him as a Sun Devil.
Take him. You cannot have him.
Cool. And then Missouri's Bo Pribula just jumped into the portal.
Yo, he's gonna have options because I think that the kid that came in, the freshman played well enough to where they were probably like, yo, it's gonna be a competition this year, and they're like, and Bo Pribula's probably like, you didn't choose me last year, so why are you gonna choose me this time? So he's out of there. I like Bo Pribula. I send him to James Franklin.
Okay. That'd be interesting to reunite. You figure maybe Penn State's going to go after Rocco Beck. There's other guys who haven't jumped into the portal yet that make this whole thing very interesting. But I think Bo going to Oklahoma State, because Haas Hedgney is leaving Oklahoma State, right? So that's another big guy in the portal, but you might not see, because he didn't get to produce, even though he was a really high level high school recruit. You might not see him get the really, really big offers. We'll see how it goes. But that would be an interesting one for me is Oklahoma State. But I think we've solved college football just now.
Yep. All right. The final thing we'll talk about today is Matt Rhule. Matt Rhule apparently, from reports, was not a target of Penn State, despite that they clearly tried to make it look like that. He got a contract extension. So my question is, Ralph, why did he get a contract extension?
It makes it feel like Nebraska, I don't know. I honestly, what do you think he's less deserving of? This is going to be mean. I don't want to be mean to Matt Rhule. I think he's a good coach. I was going to say, what do you think he's less deserving of?
But he wasn't deserving of an extension. That's two different things.
I'm also not 100% sure he should be having a podcast, because your boy Doug Gottlieb just stepped down to focus on coaching basketball only and let his radio show go. I think maybe Matt Rhule needs to be locked fully in on getting Nebraska back to where it possibly could be with all that support that it has. Like, you're right on the brink of taking that next step. He has, at this point, he's going to be on his third defensive coordinator in 3 years, and he's hiring one of our show favorites that we mentioned previously out of San Diego State. He's bringing that North Dakota State 5-2 to Nebraska, which is crazy because that system came from Craig Bohl, who worked at Nebraska forever as part of their giant run. So it's almost like they're bringing the defense home. They're going to be in the market for a quarterback to play under Dana Holgerson in like air raid style concepts. It feels like some things are falling into place, but they just reinvested in a guy who has given them 14, 15 wins in the last 2 years and has had to admit a mistake with one coordinator, has cycled through defensive coordinators. Do you have faith in your athletic administration if they can get tricked into an extension? And I realize I'm talking about that as an Arizona State fan who currently has a coach who is trying to trick his administration and hold them hostage for extra resources. But when somebody was never actually truly a candidate, how do we feel about that?
I mean, I think it's scary. It's frustrating. There's uncertainty. So I think having a good athletic director, especially one who has a track record of hiring good coaches. I mean, Rob Mullins at Oregon. He's hired multiple football coaches. They've all worked. He's hired women's basketball coach, men's basketball coach, softball coaches has changed, still having success. Volleyball coaches changed, success. Like he just like you have to. It's like hiring a head coach. Everybody thinks that the head coach's main job is to coach the team. No, it's actually to hire excellent assistants, and then to set the tone for the team. That's what the job is.
Nebraska's got a shot next year at playing for 9 to 10 wins, in my opinion. They're going to be at Iowa. They're going to be at Oregon. Those are tough. Illinois, if they stay up and stay competitive, that could be an issue. But they host Indiana and they host Ohio State, and their non-conference is garbage. It's Ohio, Bowling Green, and North Dakota. Yeah. So they're going to have a legit shot next year, and no one's going to be talking about this extension at all being unjustified if they go out and win 9 to 10 games. And I think they're going to have, at least schematically, the defense to try to pull it off. Offensively, the offense to try to pull it off. It just becomes about who they can go out and get as far as personnel to replace Dylan Raiola, who I never really felt fit in the first place. And maybe you got to give Matt Rhule credit for being brave enough to say goodbye to the offensive line coach, knowing that it's going to cost you both Raiola brothers.
Yeah.
So maybe this is maybe we should be giving a bunch of credit to Matt Rhule, but at the same time, any coach in America who's cycling through coordinators is somebody you have to be skeptical of. We learned that about South Carolina this year, who finished second to last in the SEC standings when a lot of us picked them to go to the college football playoff.
What idiot would do that?
Both of us.
Yeah.
Hey, the Apostles were idiots. So we actually are an appropriately named show in the College Football Apostles.
Well, you guys enjoy the college football playoff games this week. We made our predictions last week, and hopefully all goes well. You guys, peace out. We will catch you guys next week.